And then let's say if it's a Sutrayana, then is the base of the system based on true truth, which means the relative truth or existence we can experience normal people's life and perception. You can, whatever you can experience, include that our own five aggregates. So that is the base. Based on that, then the path is Four Noble Truth. So to understanding Four Noble Truth, and to practicing the Four Noble Truth as path. And then the result is the two bodies of the Buddhahood. So that is in a Sutrayana path. And then Tantrayana path, also we can say the based on true truth, and the path you can make that Four Noble Truths, but mainly is not like that. Is more naturally is the base is our own the five aggregate, and then the path is either we can practice more in, how do you say, intuition or imagination, or to understand the truth and the truth of the nature. So in that way we can explain. So that means in Sutrayana path, our five aggregate, our body, basically body and mind, those things as we see as a suffering nature, and then we have to apply a path to assessing from this the suffering nature. So to do that, then we have to look at the origin. So the origin is also in our negative attitudes and emotions and the propensities. So come to there. So those things we see as the origin of the suffering in our life, and then we apply a path for antidotes. So that antidote is, for example, if it's anger, then is the antidote is love, and then hatred, then antidote is compassion, and at least the sympathy and empathy. And then if we have too much desire and attachment, then you apply antidote. So the renunciation and essenceless and even selflessness and all of these things you have to apply. Okay? But, and then if it's a Tantrayana, then the base, as before I said, your five aggregate or your body and mind, you can use, but mainly Tantrayana rely on more the ultimate truth rather than the relative truth. So more, so you uses the base of the system is based on Buddha nature, which means the ultimate truth, rather than the temporary five aggregate, and those things. So, and that then based on that Buddha nature is perfect and yes, the totality of everything and non-contradiction and inconceivable qualities. Based on that, and then we apply that path is similar of the base. You can say base or you can say grant. So similar of the grant. So grant means also the result in Tantra in a way, the fruition, the end goal. And the goal also this, and the base also this, the grant or base also this, and the path also is similar of that. Similar of that. So that is different from the Sutrayana, because Sutrayana, your base is usually, your base is that no more samsaric, the suffering nature, and then you using a path as a from the suffering nature, you the causes and condition like compassion and love, or those things you using as antidote. So the result is going to be two bodies of Buddha. So very, very different, very, very different. The base and the path and the result is very different. So that means something we covered in on farm and the grant, and then we planting seed and the tools how you covered in, right? So these things very different. You know, the tools for covering, not covering. What is it?
Covered in.
Covered it, and this is very different. But in Tantrayana, the three is very similar. Okay. So then how you do it, that three is similar, because we are living in a relative truth. Our body and you know, the mind and all five aggregates is a relative existence. So how can we apply that's the ultimate truth? You know, if you think that, then is that is we have three different way of you can practice, three levels of you can practice. So that means based on a belief, the ultimate, our Buddha nature is already perfect, and you believe in that, and then you imagine all our five aggregate, everything is this and this Buddha nature, perfect Buddhahood, and this all the qualities of Buddha, and the so the qualities of Buddha, and so for instance, even our five poisons usually call anger and jealous and the attachment and the pride and then ignorance, all of them as Buddha, five Buddha qualities, and see that way. So see means the lower level, you just imagine, you believe and imagine, and then is a little bit higher level, then you more than imagine, you have that intuitively you have that feeling, and that is you use as part, and then is a higher level, you experiencing this at least your meditation absorption, you experience in that, and the post meditation, and you remembering what you experienced. So that way is the best way. So this is the three levels way of practicing. So that means same goal, but different way. So that means, for instance, in Sutrayana way, what you mostly engage in is and the relative truth existence. Either you understand in the suffering nature, and you understand in the origin, cause, and condition, and then you the antidote also is some kind of the love and nature and compassion, or this diligent admiration. All of them, the discipline and everything is also the part of the impermanence, the part of the how you say, the origin. So the origin of the suffering nature, you mostly rely on that, but at the same time, also you can, if it's a high level, then you can think of the selfless, no self, and also no self of person, no self of the phenomenon. You can think that, and that is considered very high practice in Sutrayana, but still is lower than how Tantrayana way of practicing. Why? Because Tantrayana way is not the emphasize no self of person and no self of phenomenon. Instead is the perfection nature, the Buddha nature, everything perfect, and you emphasize on that. And this is inconceivable and incomparable, and this is how you say, the innumerable quality and the totality of all perfection, everything. You focus that way. That's why. That's why even the lower level you practice in with imagination, all the deities and mandalas and everything. You do in that way. You directly practice this way. You focus in this positivity, but then naturally you naturally detached that no more suffering nature, the suffering nature of five aggregates and everything is just naturally detaching. So Sutrayana way, you focus in no self, no phenomenon, no self for person, no self for phenomenon, but it's not. You focusing on that, it doesn't naturally bring, and then the ultimate, the Buddha nature is perfection of the Buddha nature doesn't bring. So that's why is more Sutrayana way is more focusing the half of the ultimate truth rather than the full of ultimate truth. So Gentong Great Madhyamika telling some indication of the full both, but in general Sutrayana way, up to the Rangtong point of view, you not showing anything the full of the ultimate truth. Instead, the half of you emphasize on half of the ultimate truth, even you practice in high. So that's why in Tantrayana, even the lower level, imagination level, still you naturally ignoring and the relative suffering nature of the five aggregate, everything you naturally you detaching or ignore or whatever you call is you don't see as even exist. But if it's a very the most lower level of the maybe Tantrayana practitioners, they don't really understand the emptiness and those things, but just directly imagine oneself is as a deity, and like that way, and mandala. In that way, even you don't know is emptiness, you don't know how to be emptified, you don't know, and even you're not aware the Buddha nature is perfect and everything totality, even you're not aware that, but still you what is the bottom line is you are the deity and mandala, and you focus on that. So even the lower level, and then high level, you with understanding empty nature and everything, and then you visualize it in that deity with your imagination. And then you, if you go high level, it's not just imagination, but you have intuitive level, you have some understanding, and you have some feelings about that. So that's why is higher. So in this medium one brings nyam. So nyam means sometimes they experience something incredible, but then not consistent, then never come back again, or another experience, something one day maybe very good, but then it's not come back. So those kinds of inconsistent, incredible ones you can experience is nyam. So that means you are doing a medium powerful or way of you able to practice in, and that's why. But then the higher level of practicing is, of course, you directly experiencing a portion of the Buddha nature. So that's why this is a high level because it's direct experiencing. Even is tiny portion of the Buddha nature, that is a huge, incredible, inconceivable experience still, even tiny portion. So that's why you experiencing this, and this one is more consistent. If you are high level of practice, your consistency. But why is consistence? Also is relying on based on how much faith and trust and appreciation and honoring, gratitude, and this merit. Like of course, all merit is dependent on this gratitude. This honoring people have this things. This positivity, this faith, devotion. All of this forces to experience true Buddha nature. So that things is also, it's not like something you generate, but naturally comes. They come each other, rely on each other. So if when you are lower practice, even you emphasize that relative level of the belief and devotion or distance, if you emphasize that enough, that brings you direct experience, and direct experience naturally you become like this. You become like this, and you care about this so much, and devotion and distance. So so sometimes we have people, I don't want like the external 3 jewels, and I don't want external guru. Everything I want, I already have my inner. This kind of people making claims is the opposite. That means is a sign of they don't have nothing. Because if you really have this inner realization, it makes naturally you becomes like you are loving and woman, and this how do you say faith and devotion and dedication and everything come naturally. Even compassion, everything is come naturally. So that's why all the great practitioners say sun and the warmth and the lights come together, they're not separate. The same thing. So we say 투탁 제장들과 곰탁 녀몽충와. So tushtak means somebody have a big knowledge, they are more civilized and more subdued. Okay, so subdued. Why? Because when you have more knowledge, then you understand the complex of the nature, and how we are small and how big everything. You become more humble, and more civilized. But then people don't have knowledge and they are very big arrogant because you have no idea how complex of the nature, and then very little things then you think I'm not incredible. So that's why I become arrogant. So that's we call tushtak jijang talwa. Jijang talwa means peaceful and tamed. Tamed, peaceful means more civilized. So gomtak nyomon chwar. Gomtak nyomon chwar means if you have a real spiritual experience through the meditation, and this kind of person is nyomon chwa. Nyomon chwa means you are not out of control the anger, not out of control the the jealous and all these things. You are not. They are already subdued, all of them. So this subdued one we can explain in Sutra in a way and Tantra in a way. So in Sutra in a way you have less these negativities because your realization naturally they're subdued. So that's why it's controllable. Your anger and everything is controllable, not uncontrollable, right? So become like that. So that's Sutra in a way we explain. The Tantra in a way explain, you don't have to subdue them, you don't have to minimize them, but it's still you can control. You can control as the big. Yeah? So that means the purpose is the benefit is the same, very similar, because not exactly the same, but it's very similar. The Sutra in a way you can control because it's very little manner. So that's why it's not uncontrollable. It's like that. So in Tantra in a way, you don't need minimize, but still you control. Why? Because Tantra in a way, how you trained is whatever it is as perfect. In that way you are trained. So when you understand this, when you doing this, then they're already perfect. They're already perfect means not uncontrollable. So the other one is you have to minimize them, so then it's controllable. Okay, so very different. If I give example, let's say if you have everything your belonging things, you can absolutely useful, all of them, you don't need abandon anything, is absolutely useful. Somehow you have skills, everything you have, you make absolutely useful. Let's say how that happens. For instance, if somebody knows the chemical level and making things and recycle everything, if you knows everything rubbish, everything, you can make something perfect. You don't need to throw away anything, everything you make very valuable, and then you can sell them. For instance, you can make through the rubbish, you can make perfect ones, and then you sell them internet. So everything is become valuable. That is Tantra. Okay, so Sutra in a way is what's doing is all the bad things, rubbishy things, either you throw away, or even you're not able to throw away everything, but let's say you make controllable. You make them controllable means, or the rubbish bins, maybe you compact together and you pack something and make smaller on the corner rather than mess everywhere. So then good things, you don't have to do this, which means love, compassion, diligent, or the six perfections. These things is like good things, like our the plate and kitchen things and everything. Useful ones you don't throw away, of course. the Tantrayana also don't throw away, Sutrayana way also, both, they not throw away those. But the rubbish, come to the rubbish, the Tantrayana, you make perfect everything, don't need throw away anything, but Sutrayana, make some clean and tidy and, and compact, and then so it's not affecting your messiness and many things, right? So even if it's something chemical, but you kind of like put inside butter on then plastic bag outside or whatever, is something controllable, not the chemical affecting you, not the smell, if it's a bad smell, it's not affecting you, everything you make controllable, right? So that is Sutrayana way, okay? So that means is Sutrayana way and Tantrayana way, both people can practice, both together, yes or no? So the answer is, if you know how to make everything valuable, even the rubbish things you make very expensive valuable, if you can make this, then you don't need, right? You don't need rubbishy controlling, and you make smaller or smelling things, you put something not smelling. You don't need this because you already doing more than that. It's something you do absolutely useful, valuable, you make like that. So that's why if you are perfect Tantrayana practitioner, you don't need Sutrayana at all. But until you are become perfect, yes, you need Sutrayana as well, because you have Tantrayana practices, you have a limitation. Wherever you have limited, whenever you have limited, then you need Sutrayana practice. For instance, this rubbish, if you have many rubbish, okay, you make some of rubbish, you can make valuable things, but not all rubbish, right? Not all rubbish you cannot make. That means you are not perfect Tantrayana practitioner. You are practitioner, but Tantrayana practitioner, you prefer the Tantrayana, and you have some ability to practice in Tantrayana, but you cannot do everything Tantrayana way. So that means all rubbish you cannot make perfect objects. So what are you going to do? The rest of rubbish you cannot make a valuable object. You have to sort out things, and you have make clean and tidy and no smelly, and whatever you have to do. The rest, it's not you mess everywhere. Oh, I'm practice Tantrayana practice and I don't care this. This Sutrayana way means you. Yes, you made some rubbish, you make valuable things, perfect, beautiful, but the half of rubbish you just leave there messy. You don't do that. Instead, you make tidy of the rubbish. Okay, so if it's smelly, and then you not make sure it's not smelly. If there's something is chemical affecting, or something is bad, or let's say internet vibration, something affect your health or anything, you try to put far away, or you cover something, or something that you're doing. You not just leave there carelessly. So that's why, until you are perfect Tantrayana practitioner, you need both. When you are become a perfect Tantrayana practitioner, you don't need Sutrayana at all. Okay? Or I can say, as much as you can do the Tantrayana, that part you don't need. It's very clear, because if the quarter of the rubbish, if you can make perfect object, then this quarter of rubbish you don't need think about, oh, how can I sort all that? You already made more than sort of rubbish. So same thing. So that is, I think people have to understand. Otherwise, people go always black and white, and like so this is important to understand. The same thing, the 4 class of Tantra, also lower, higher, Kriya Tantra, Action Tantra, and the Yoga Tantra, highest Yoga Tantra. All of them also, highest Yoga Tantra means you don't need, there is no similar of Sutrayana at all. And here, the Yoga Tantra have little similar, and then the action Tantra have more similar of Sutrayana, and then the creator Vajrayana, you have much more similar of Tantrayana. Okay? Why? Because there are lower system, you have more Sutrayana way. Yeah, because Sutrayana way is something is slow but less dangerous, right? Less dangerous. It's not like a powerful tool, but less dangerous. Yeah, not fast as aeroplane, but is like bicycle, so less dangerous. So bicycle and motorbike more dangerous because more faster and many things. So the bicycle is slow, but even a fell is not hurt as fast motorbike. So same thing. So Tantrayana is danger means what danger means? Danger means then when you are not ready, you think that I'm ready, and then you are not ready. You are not ready is dangerous because then you think, for instance, I'm ready and my anger. So then you cannot control your anger. So you try to use anger, but you cannot control, and then you mess up. And the same thing, like you are not ready to ride motorbike, but you thought ready, and so then you have accident. The same thing, just mess up. Okay. So also if you are very, very high level, absolute high level, that means I can kill sentient beings, because I can liberate them. I can liberate this spirit in nirvana. If you are not ready for that, even you are quite high, but it's not that much ready, you try to do that, impossible. So you go to hell because you killed without liberate. You thought you can liberate, but it's not. So then that means very dangerous, like aeroplane. Okay, aeroplane falls, definitely you die. Not like motorbike or even a car accident. So it's like that. So that's why it's more high, of course, more dangerous. But so that's why if you know how much degree I can practice, how much I'm ready, and that part you practice, something you are not ready, then you have Sutrayana. Okay? So last few times I criticized that we are Tantrayana system societies are Sutrayana oriented, no good. That's why our Tantra realizations and attainment is very slow down and less number. That's I criticize it. But you have to understand that criticism is I'm talking about for awareness. So awareness, so then people are aware. Did we go too much Sutrayana way? Then all the Tantrayana systems, if we like influenced by Sutrayana, that's unnecessary. So that's why I given just awareness. But today I'm saying is Tantrayana is dangerous if you are not ready, and then Sutrayana is not dangerous. You can practice it together. Means Sutrayana is option when you are not ready. So that's awareness also equally important. So that means one this side, both awareness important. Because if you go this way too far, then it's one extreme, like everything Sutrayana. So then Sutrayana influence too much in Tantrayana system, even as unnecessary or for everybody. So then people have not even a chance to try to practice Tantrayana way. But that's one extreme. But the other extreme, you think, Sutrayana is not needed, it's lower and not good, and we need a Tantrayana practitioner. And this, if you go that extreme, then it's dangerous. Because you didn't took bicycle to your journey. You thought, I can drive car, but if you didn't know how to drive car, so then you become underfoot. So similarly, you thought something, you are arrogant, and something I'm ready already, and something you're not ready. So that's why you then becomes nothing. No Sutrayana, no Tantra, no path becomes like that. So that's why it is, you have to free for the two extremes, and then make balance. Then is everything going to be perfect, perfect means not talking about a perfect for in general, but it's perfect for individual. So for individuals, perfection is what is the suitability for the individual. Okay, in general, a perfection, of course, Tantrayana. But if you are, so that's why if we have skills of only bicycle, then you better to go a bicycle, So same thing, that is perfect for you. But if you are aeroplane, no problem. And if you have to go very far away, then of course no bicycle, So same thing. So So I think what I'm saying, if I briefly summarized what I have taught, is Tantrayana, the path and base and the fruition as all have to be similar. Because you're not abandoning anything, you work in everything what you best. And Sutrayana way is the base as suffering nature, but then the path also, your path is the sum of your emotions, not all of emotion. Some of them you have to abandon, some of them you increase, some of them decrease. So that's why. And then the result is ultimate truth. Your end goal is ultimate truth. They're both same. Sutra and Tantra, the end goal is same, but the path is not same, the base is not same. So the Sutrayana way is you making farm and planting crops. So then, growing greens, and so then you finally you have whatever you plant. But Tantrayana way, you making now everything you have, you making object, something useful. Is not you do something and then waiting for the result. It's not that. Is you directly doing everything directly. So so like that. So that's why is why is like that? Because so they both are same meaning. Same meaning means the end goal, same meaning. But for the path, the strategies, Tantrayana way is less ignorance, more intelligent. Means a devotion, all these things you have to consider as like intelligent in Tantrayana. Okay? They are the best intelligent, okay? Because intelligent becomes like more brain work, working with brain, and intellect. This is limited intelligent. But we working with your intuitive, and everything, entirety of yourself becomes, are intelligent in Tantrayana way, like the, because of the, you cannot fail because you have faith, you cannot fail, you have devotion, you cannot fail, you have pure perception, everything. So in the Sutrayana way is, this good, this not good, it's selected. But in Tantrayana way, everything is supported. So that's why is much more powerful. And so that's why less ignorance, much more skill. Don't you know, marmonto, tama means too many skills. Therefore, is easy. Why easy? So if you know everything, all rubbish, everything you have make incredible, valuable. Let's say all your belongings, only you have 10,000 value of the belongings include rubbish. You can make like 10 million with your skills. That's easy. Or you have to work very hard and earn money. Yeah. So Sutrayana means you work very hard and earn money. So one day I can buy this. One day I pay this. Blah blah. That kind of. But in the Tantra is like you have everything. Everything I have skill. I have all my skills. I can make this no problem. So that's why is. Of course, then I'm sharing Sutrayana. If it's not perfect Tantrayana, then use. Or some of them I can make perfect, but some of don't. So I also need a little bit of money. So that kind of, then I can swap. Or same thing, the part. Or wherever not perfect Tantrayana, then better to have Sutrayana rather than zero. Yeah. So you have to understand that way. Okay. So what time?
Almost 8.
Huh?
Almost 8.
Oh, okay.
1 hour.
Oh, wow. So then I live here. If we have any questions, I can try.
Anyone has any questions online, you can add them to the Q&A and we will ask them. You can write them in your own language. The first question, Rinpoche, do you see any contrast between the path of Sutra, and Tantra? Is it possible to do them both at the same time? I think you answered that, but...
Both at the same time, you don't need it. You don't need a certain of rubbish, and one rubbish if you know how to make valuable, then the same time you don't need sorting the rubbish. So it's unnecessary. But some rubbish you cannot sort out, then you have to do. That's already taught a few times. Yeah.
Does anyone else have any questions online? If we don't have any other questions, we'll do the dedication. So just a moment or two. Oh, we have one.
Okay. The last question ever had. But
Yes.
Today I didn't prepare very well, so maybe that's why.
I think it was very clear. This question is, as you accept all appearances as divine, as done by Mipam, how can you also practice Tantra while doing Sutra?
Everything's pure and divine means already Tantrayana view. Sutrayana, there's no such thing of that.
I know, so he's saying if you're walking around with that in mind, then how could you possibly?
Huh?
He's basically saying if you're walking around living with that view, how could you ever go backwards?
Backward.
Like go to Sutra. How can, if you have that view of everything, then how would you, find the rubbish that's not useful? How would you have the Sutra view? How would you use that?
When that means all rubbish you make is like me, all your rubbish you know how you have skills, make millions of dollars of value, you know how to make it. So then you don't need worry about the sutra, another worry about rubbish at all. If you do that, it's impossible. It's silly. The same thing. When you are everything, you are really, it's not just you thinking, but really you have that view, naturally you have that, then you don't need to go back at all in Sutrayana way. same as the rubbish.
Rinpoche, why would it be necessary to practice Tantra at all?
Why is necessary? Is only for easy and fast path, because it's like almost like not almost, just same as we go walking, go somewhere, like 10 years you have to walk, is aeroplane just maybe few hours, that's it. Same thing, the Sutra in countless eons, which means 3 times eons, Buddhahood is Tantra, 1 lifetime or even less. So if you don't care, if you have that warrior mind, I'm enjoy to eons to accumulation merit to the Buddha path, then you don't need Tantra at all. But you prefer do quickly, and then so I able to liberate more people, more sentient beings, more faster. If you prefer that, then you have to practice Tantra. That's all. But that still is suitable for you or not is still is a questionable mark.
Yes.
You have to experience. You have to test yourself.
So the next question, Rinpoche, the next 2 questions is basically how can I verify that I'm ready to practice Vajrayana or suitable for this practice? How can I know that I can practice Tantra?
That is easy to judge, because if you prefer like everything is divine and perfect, a pure perception, and even you appears bad things, and you don't like that, and you kind of like you see different way, and you don't like judgmental, and as our appearances, you don't see as everything reality as appearances, because appearances is not, most of them not perfect, but you have some kind of belief more than appearances. That kind of mind you have, that means you are really belong to Tantra. So if you are a very, very, very judgmental, or how you say, skeptical, and or everything analyzed with your intellect like this, that means you are less chance Sutrayana, Tantrayana. So more Sutrayana better.
Rinpoche, my mother likes to practice the Sutra path, but I want to practice the Tantra path. She says the Tantra path is bad. Do you have advice?
Is you cannot say Tantra is bad for everyone. If somebody is not suitable at all, zero understanding, then it's dangerous, because you first, maybe you believe a little bit, and then later on you realize, that's rubbish, that is terrible, and then you hate it, So that's kind of dangerous. But if you have a more understanding and intuitively you are kind of feel good and that way, and then you can't say bad, that's best. So, and then so some people that judge Tantrayana with zero knowledge, only just based on hearsay. Some people have a little bit idea, but always they are limited idea. Idea always limited. In general, the Tantra cannot be the bad, impossible, the best and best. But suitability wise, maybe not necessarily best for you. So that's why everybody can right to choose, better to choose themselves, not somebody choose for you.
But what can you say to his mom?
Huh?
What does he tell his mother? How does he help his mother understand that his practice in the Tantra path is not so bad?
Or how you make mother understanding?
Yes.
No guarantee. You can try you can try many ways, but you can't guarantee that. Impossible. Yeah.
Rinpoche, what's the difference between the Kala Chakra teaching and the Dzogchen teaching in Mahamudra as far as following Tantra?
The viewpoint is not much differences, and the system of the path are a little bit different, but they all helping each other. It's not like contradict each other. It's more compromise each other. So yeah, just if you have one destiny and there's three ways of you going, three paths of you going. Some is a little bit shortcut, but a little bit steep. Some is like very flat, but a little bit longer. You know, depend which one you like. It's not much huge difference.
Rinpoche, how can I understand Buddha nature from the sutra versus?
Well, the only difference is I want to say, Dzogchen system is always telling the best possibility in poetic way, so very easy to inspire. But when you come to the path, not necessarily successes as you are inspired. Kalachakra way is not saying the best possibility, saying is what is the, in fact the fact of the what you can do. So that's why it's much more clear and how to say less misunderstanding or later on disappointment, probably less. So Mahamudra also similar of Dzogchen, but little bit tiny, little bit different. Yeah, Dzogchen is much more poetic. That's all.
Rinpoche, how should you understand Buddha nature differently from Sutra versus Tantra point of view?
Just more elaborated from Tantra, but some of them very similar. For instance, Sutrayana, they not talk about deities. Okay, Sutrayana Janton not talk about deities at all, but they talk about permanent, eternal totality of perfection, everything Janton Sutrayana talk about. But the Tantrayana may more add, you know, like the like deities and beings and the mandala and you know the goddesses like this elaboration difference. That's all in the viewpoint. But path is different. Remember, I'm talking about no huge differences in the viewpoint, but path, of course, very different.
Rinpoche, in the sutra, I've been taught some methods to practice bodhicitta, such as 7 points, and Tonglen, 9 points. However, I noticed that in the Mahayana Sutrayana, you practice bodhicitta explicitly, like outright practice it, but in Tantra, it seems to be not explicit.
The Tantrayana means the Sutrayana and bodhicitta practicing because from beginning, for beginner wise, how to lead in more details. So Tantrayana means you already know how to practice bodhicitta, and you know you expecting know more than Sutrayana. For instance, in Sutrayana, only bodhicitta is only talking about mental bodhicitta, and Tantrayana you're talking about mental bodhicitta, physical bodhicitta, subtle bodhicitta, and then the ultimate bodhicitta, all of them. So that's why is less talk because you expecting those things you already know, but more variety.